Hey everybody, this is Captain Kyle and I'm here with two knockoff G1 Devastators to review for you. And these are stinkers. Be right back. So at one point I did have a knockoff Devastator that I think was more in line, like made from the original Diaclone vehicles or whatever they came from. And it was high quality, it stayed together, it was great. Now these two are not quite so great. I saw this black Devastator. It was in the same gift set packaging, very similar to the Walmart packaging of the new actual official reissue. It was like $75 on eBay. I got it and it has some issues, which we will talk about shortly. This one, I ordered a knockoff Combiner Wars Devastator and they sent me this instead. It came in a suitcase style box and in the packaging it looked pretty good. Not as good as you would hope, but we'll go through each of these and I think I'm gonna start with the black one so that we can show you this one as I kind of deconstruct him. Now when I got this particular one, it had no stickers on it. No factory stickers, no stickers that you would normally put on it, and not even rub signs. So I realized immediately that this was a knockoff. I mean, it does look pretty cool, but there are some issues with it. I was finally able to lock it into this particular mode, but just attaching the legs are an issue. However, one thing it has in common with the original is that it's got these launchers and they don't always hold the fists in very well. You got to be very careful that you don't accidentally launch his fists like Trans or Z off the table. So he's a pretty good looking Devastator, but let's take a look at his component parts. And I will say that of the two, this one had a lot more accessories, was a lot more like the original, whereas the other one, well, we'll go into that. It's not horrible quality, but I'm going to take them apart to show you all the guys that come with them. As vehicles, they look pretty good. The vehicle modes are very, I mean, they probably use the same molds, or very close to the same molds. And the black look is very cool. I have to give credit to Maiden, because she put on the stickers and she did an amazing job. She is my camera person, my creative director, and you can also see her on Fandom Spotlight. It came with all the guns, even the head missiles for Mixmaster. So some of these figures are very good looking and again, not bad. I think they used original molds. They just didn't have a lot of quality control. For example, I cannot put the gun into Longhaul's hand. A little bit of problem with the quality control there. So it looks like he did join this outfit to be a dump truck, because he's not a warrior without a gun.
What's a warrior without weapons, eh? A warrior still.
Whereas Scavenger has the opposite problem. You can put the gun in his hand, it fits, except it's too loose, so it goes flying. So he cannot hold his gun unless you fully extend his arm and kind of balance it in there, and even then it's gonna fall out. Two of the Constructicons can't hold their weapons. The feel of this particular plastic and the quality of it, it does not feel as good as it could. I would definitely be very careful if you get this set. I would probably put it in Devastator mode and never take it out. But Hook can hold his gun, so he's good. Now all the guns are black, which is kind of cool. Bone Crusher, it's a little tight to put his gun in, but it stays. What is not tight is his head. Doesn't stay up very easily, but you can somehow get it to stay. And then there's Scrapper, who's pretty much the leader. So what's wrong with Scrapper? Well, his arm comes off. That's one particular problem. You can put it back on, but it will probably pop off just as you're merging him into Devastator. So here we are with the Stealth Constructicons. They do look pretty cool, though they do have some quality control issues. Merging them into Devastator, it took me quite a bit of time to just get Scrapper, lost his arm again, onto the connector. It's like micrometers off. Doesn't want to stay on there. So once you get him into this position and actually manage to get it together, I wouldn't take it apart. Of course I did. So I will provide you a link to the eBay listing where I got this. I don't necessarily recommend it as a high quality toy, but maybe you can get it for a little cheaper. Maybe you can just put it on display and never touch it, and it'll be a cool addition to your collection. I was actually a little confused when I first saw these because I'm thinking, Takara puts out a lot of black versions of Transformers, so for them to do a black Devastator would be really cool. I really wish they had, because then there would be quality control. But they are neat figures, and some of them, if you wanted to keep them separate and not put them as Devastator, you know, they can look nice on a shelf as well. So this one looks kind of neat. It's kind of a shinier plastic. It's got very shiny chest shield, kind of a metallic chrome there. And at first I left it in the box, and it looked very good in the box. But once I removed it, I realized it has major issues. Now this was sent to me in error, and I ended up getting to keep it because they refunded me. And I did eventually get a Combiner Wars knockoff of Devastator, which I will be reviewing at some point. But this one, let me show you some issues. As Devastator, I mean, he looks pretty good, but you don't have the part of Scrapper that keeps the shovel, when his head is pushed in, from going all the way up. So you can't lock it into foot mode. So that's why I'm holding it. I mean, I can release, but then he will fall forward onto his face. It does come with a couple guns attached. This is not actually a regular Constructicon gun, nor is this. This looks more like a modified version of Wild Rider's gun. It was also a little bit difficult, but not as difficult to get these attached. Now, if you do find this set, it does have entirely black attachment here. So I'm wondering if that's gonna actually work better on the other one, so I can mix and match. There are some minor mold differences with these guys. There's no chrome, and as I said with Scrapper, it does not have the pop-up tabs here to keep the shovel from going all the way back. There's some interesting patterns on the canopy of Bone Crusher here, and at least our Decepticon symbols aren't real Decepticon symbols. They're these definitely fake, weird face things. But all the parts that would be metal in a normal Devastator are all, for the most part, plastic. The hook on hook is like falling apart, but there they are, the wannabes. What's interesting is if you look at Scrapper, this one here next to this Scrapper, which actually does have the same mold as the original, you can see it's got these weird tabs here that are not present on the other mold, but they don't move forward, so they are not very helpful for any other purpose. The vacuum metal drum here is kind of neat, but other than that, kind of meh toys. So Mixmaster just kind of came apart, and I don't think, because of the way his front is, that it can actually transform the same way. Maybe it's supposed to come apart, and you put this peg into this slot here. Yeah, that doesn't really work. I'm figuring maybe for Mixmaster we do this. Scavenger does transform, but he's definitely a different look from the original. You don't pull out his arms, you just slide him forward. He feels very flimsy too. Scrapper doesn't transform badly, and he does look like the original. Long Haul transforms well enough. Hook doesn't quite transform because one of the tabs is too big, so you can't actually fully put down his leg there. His hook also just came off. He can kind of stand. Bone Crusher's arm just came off, but it is a ball and socket joint, which is kind of weird, but helps. Getting his feet out is not easy. And I will say most of the faces are different. I mean, Scrapper looks the same, but a lot of them, if they had mouths, they actually have plates. Hook definitely looks different. Even the head of Devastator is different. It's kind of a cool variant. Having this piece and using him for a regular Devastator might actually be pretty cool. And some of these additional accessories, if you can use them with an original and they fit, might be kind of neat. The guns, one of them fits into Scrapper's hand. The other one's way too big. I think it is supposed to go on the side of the head like the original gun. So overall, these knockoff Devastators, they're interesting. The black version I think is better than the vacuum metal bright lime green version, but still I wouldn't necessarily recommend them as substitutes for the originals. And the black one definitely has, as I mentioned, some quality control problems. Again, if you want to display him as Devastator, get him in that form, never take him out. So these are some knockoffs that have failed to thrill me as much, at least, as I hoped, especially the black one, which I actually bought on purpose. What kind of knockoffs have you gotten that you were like, not exactly what you wanted when you actually got it out of the package. Let me know in the comments below so we can cry on each other's shoulders. In the meantime, you can subscribe right down there, hit that notification bell. We got some other videos over here you can check out for some combiners and knockoffs that are a little better. We will see you next time, and as always, have fun and good hunting.